So we're on page Tov Kuf Me Pei Gimel now. And so we're going to go through a few things. The fireworks over here, I think, is later on. Let's see what it says over here now. It says, Rebbe Bira Meshulov, so that this Bira Meshulov, Lefi Arizal, Lishan is Boyer in Shisa Nafgim Anfa de Sharsha de Gufa. Six come out of this branch of the root of the body. Al pi hagdamol shal harizal b'seder tikun shisha kitzvos dezer anpen. When we talk about that, v'nizbar v'sham shehu inyan yitzis vav kitzvos dezer anpen miyisod erik anpen. So here he's talking about, I guess, the kernel. What's the right word? The kernel of what's going to become manifest as Zer Anpen. Those six kitzvos come out of the yesod of Erik Anpen and Babur be'etz chaim yizechu humavu sharm there also. Besod kol nenafik mishofer ayin sham. That's the voice that comes out of the shofar. There's an Indian over there. I don't remember it. V'amilas anfa the shorsha the gufa. So the words where you have the branch of the root of the body. Bi'arno shuhu kinoi the yesod. That's another way of saying the word yesod. Okumavur bezoyer bekama mekomos. V'chein lefi bir mari saruk. So Rev Saruk is big into this. He says, Biahel or Hamuvel hold on. They're going to get to the Va'ata Nave Od Biurim Bezen. Now we'll see some more things. So the first one is according to the Ramak. Bir Yakar the Ramak. Bir Shuhu Hemshech the Indian Yichud Abba Be'ima Hanal. So he sees this as that idea. And he says Hanal, and he said Besod Ach Serev, which is the concept. Once again, we had those two before. One refers to Abba, one refers to Ima. It's a very curious use of words. V'hasifra the Senuta B'cha the Bayer Kan Inyan Das V'Tiferes. Now we want to talk about these two aspects of the middle line. And they actually spread as a result from the energy produced from the yichud of Abba Ve'ima of the Zera Bebir Sheyesh Kam Dalad Megregos is Pashtus Zu Shehem. There are four different levels of his pashtus. Now what does we mean here? So he says this is the spreading of Das and Tiferes that come as a result of the yichud. The first one is shorish. Shuhu nesiv is the word for shorish. They're using the word nesiv. That's the channel. Lo yadu ayit. So this is the idea. Excuse me. It's a quote. I says down here from Iyar. So nesiv the path was not known to the buzzard. So whatever that means, lo yadu ayit. Shall yichud abba ve'ima, and it has to do with exactly, I don't know exactly what that means. Shorish is the yichud of abba ve'ima, and why he uses this phrase leo yadu ayit, I'm not sure. Number base is aleph shuhu haloshan, so then the branch is another way of looking at it. It refers to the tongue, so the das amisyalid min hayichud, and that's the das. Now he said the words that he uses, he says the shu hadash, which is born, hamisyalid min hayichud, which is born as a result of the yichud. When Abba and Ima, so he's saying that when Abba and Ima come together, they produce das. Now, I didn't think it was like that, but that's what he says. Shisa, so number 3 is Shisa nafgim shuchis pashtus adas, Shisha kitzvos, which is the spread of das into the 6 kitzvos. That's how it goes. And number 4 is Gufa Shuchu Atiferes Asher Bo Mispashetis, Mispashtim Misguza Shisha Kitzvos Shel Hanav. So he said, Bezechu Sh'amar Kan Shisa Nafge Ma'anfa the Sharsha, 6 come out of the branch of the root. Kolom Shisha Kitzvos Shel Hadas Yotzis Min Haloshin, they come out, the 6 kitzvos of das. Now, we always say 6 kitzvos of Zeranpin, but here's the 6 kitzvos of Das, Yotzim min Aloshon, can come out from the tongue. Shuhu Anaf min HaShorish, which is the branch that comes from the root, which is called the Nesiv, as we said. And now the Guf of the Makom Shisha kitzvos, the Das, and Nizkar, Heim, the Guf, Shuhat Teferes. So something similar there, but a little bit of vagary around. I want to see if we can find anything over here in the number bet, which could help us out. He says, Rabbi Ba'or Yakari says, Vihine Rebisod Davkusam Yaakov. What's Yaakov? What is the secret of their clinging together into oneness? Shal Ava Ve'ima, Ene B'Kol Bechinas Kulam. It's not in all the different aspects. Ela B'Sod Nesiv. I don't know what he means. What other bechinos was he talking about? Ela B'Sod Nesiv Lo Yadu Ayit. So then you come back into this, the path. The buzzard did not know the path. What does that mean? The Hainu Sod Bechinas Hadas and Mispashet Behelam. This is the concept, not knowing the path. The Nesiv is the path, I guess, want to say, that comes out or binds them together. That's what sounds like he was saying. I'm not sure. Because we have the Nesivus HaChachma. So he says that path is not known. Now, I don't know why the Pasuk refers to a buzzard. I don't really know why that is, but one thing about a buzzard is that they fly very high up in the air, and they're able to see whatever it is they're looking to feed on way down below. So I'm not sure how that works. So through the medium of this Nesiv, somehow we understand it's, I guess it's not knowable, Hazeh. He says, Yud Kanko Shtechem, that they both cling together, Yacha. So there is a not knowable path over there. V'chadas hu so that the Ferris, so the Das is the same thing, he says, as the Ferris, but it's the Ferris after it spreads out from its place, goes down. Amnam lamalo hu shorish al the guf lamata. So he says, another way to say it, that where it is, its root, this Das, which is produced this concept as a result of the yichud of Abba ve'ima. He says, Amnam lamala hu shorish al guf lamata. It's manifest in the body down below. I use the word manifest, or it's the root of what you see later. This is the concept that 6 come out. So the Das, that's what he meant. He says that the 6, here he's talking about Das, and he's trying to say that it's connected to the Ferris where you actually see the 6. I think that is where I would understand it. Which ultimately spreads those 6 kitzvos. And where do they come from? The Amta, the Sharsha, the Gufa, they come from this branch that comes out of the root of the body behind the Shlosha Kinuyim. Now he says, let's look at this again. He says, Ma'anfa, and then he has the word the Sharsha, the Gufa. So is that the 3 words he's talking about? The Hainu Sod on the Siv, that is the secret of the Nesiv, who HaShorish is the root of everything there. Now, what he's saying is the yichud, I think he's saying that the yichud between Abba Be'ima produces this Das. Within this Das is actually the whole channel that's going to become and manifest into Tiferes. So with the reality that is created there, Mibein Shtehem, between, I guess he means Abba Be'ima, who sod hadas ven as lashon, which is also called by the word tongue. Shuhu Anif Machashorish, which is the branch of the root, which I'm assuming is this Nesiv, below Amish, but it's a part. It's a part of the root, and it's not a part Anif Mamish. It's not. I'm not sure what the difference is. It's still attached in some way to the root. It's not an entity by itself. Is that what it means? Ela yesh shorish, that is a Nesiv v'anif l'shorish. There's a shorish, and then there's a branch of the shorish. And then the lashon, and then it says of the shasa of so lashon. we're going to get this working. There we go. Okay. Now, I'm not translating this well, so the last piece that we says, let's go back where it says, V'amatzios mizyalad sham mibein shtehim hu so the das v'na'as aloshan, it becomes a tongue, shehu anaf ma'ashorish, below anaf mamish. So it's not really independent, it's really a part, still attached, or it's actually the same essence, just further down. Who so the das v'na'as aloshan, and it becomes, the das becomes like a tongue. Shuhu anaf mahashorish, a branch, below anaf mamish. Oh, I'd read that twice. Eliyeh shorish, that is the shorish now in the sieve. But anaf l'shorish, and the branch of the root. V'loshon, v'shasa, I don't know this word. V'shasa nafkin ma'anfa. Is the veshta? It's not veshta. It's v'shasa.
Ita.
Huh?
Ita 6.
Vashisa. Oh, that's our word. Yeah, Vashisa. Okay, good. Okay, Vashisa nafgein ma'anfa. So the 6 come out of the branch. Nafgein ma'anfa. V'hispashtus adasa l'shisha kitzvais. V'heim shorish alaguf, and this is the root to the body, behind teferis lamata. So that's the same idea. It's the root of what manifests later. Be'inyan shehim arba bebechinas, it comes like there's 4 different aspects here. Achaz, one of them, is shisa, that's 6. His pashtus das, the shisha kitzvos, that's 1. Shenis anfa it's a branch, it's a lusha, so which is, I guess he means to say, is the tongue. Hashlishish shorsha is the nesiv. Harivius the gufa is the tefaris. V'chaguf hu tatom mikula. So however you add this up, the body is at the bottom behind the sheish kitzvos b'mekomo. V'shorish elyon mikula is the tongue. The tongue is the ultimate branch, ultimate root of where this is coming from. Davek b'shorish, it's really clinging on to the nesiv. So the nesiv, which apparently is what comes out, what binds the two, that is Abba ve'ima together. He says the shorish elyon mekula is lashon, is that the tongue davek b'shorish is clinging to its root, which is the nesiv. Shisa, so shisa is pashtus adas the shisha kitzvos, and then it moves into that spreading. Davek begufa teferis v'hu sod bechinas lashon. That's the whole idea there of the lashon, which really is all one connection, manifesting in a lower place, which is teferis. Let's go to the next one. Now the Marie Sarok has been exciting up to this point. He said, "B'pirish Marie Sarok he sicha v'bir kan lefidarko anal shel deitasa the achasa." That phrase, he Rachel umadata he Leah ein sham. So this is a complete reversal of that idea. One of them, the achsa, is the sister, right? So there, the imodata, I guess, would be the first one that pours into her in some way. But so we explain over here, and this is really what it says. But sarach ata the das shal shisha sfira shal zer anpin, that is, which are chagat nai. Shehem Iker Binyano, which is really the root structure of Zeranpin. Hey Noisnim Koch Bechayos. Notice it doesn't say Hius, he says Chayos. Be'elech B'shtecha Bechinas Rachel B'leia. So he says what? He says once again, Zel Shem Tzaref Ata the Das Shal Shisha Sphira Shal Zeranpin Chagat Nai, which is the main structure. Hey Noisnim Koch Bechayos Be'elu Shteis Sphiros Rachel B'leia. Now, normally I think of Rachel as 6 spheros, but here he's putting the two of them together. When would it be that the two of them would be gathered together like that? The Haida Shisha Tikunim and the Nukve. Now, I'm not really familiar with the Shisha Tikunim and the Nukve, because if he would have thought that it was Rachel, I could understand that because she's drawing off of the Vak of Zeranpin. But on the other hand, what's Leah doing there? She's above the Vak of Zeranpin. So, maybe she is, but she's the top part. Okay, of Zeranpin. So this energy that we're talking about is gathered into the Yesod of Zer Anpin and Misham Ola Derek Ach, the parts of Nukve. So it goes around through Zer Anpin, and we'll talk about Zer Anpin. It's hard for me to understand. Zer Anpin, when he's a 6 Gitzvos, is incontinence. And usually I'm thinking when you're incontinence that you're not talking about Rachel and Leah both, but maybe you are. There's a continence of Leah as well, I guess, because if Zer Anpin is a whole creature at 6 Kitzvos, there has to be a nukva there also. I'm not sure. So the Bisham Olach Bederek Ach, the parts of nukve behind the Shtei Bechinos Elu Rachel Leah. So that's what he says. He says it goes from his 6 Kitzvos into the 6 Tikkunim of those two. Behind the Amashis and Nafkim Ma'anfa the Sharsha the Gufa, that 6 came out from the branch of the root of the body. What does that mean? Kolomar Hashisha Kochos Shel Hashisha Sfiros, the 6 different energies or powers that come out of the Shisha Sfiros, the Zer Anpin. Okay, so I just want to point out, I want to go back over where it says, it probably doesn't bother you, but Kolomar, Hashisha Kochos Shel Hashisha Sfiros Zer Anpin, Hanos name Chayos Le'elu Shtei Bechinos. Now, over in Rabbi Nachman, I started reading Likutei Moharan in English again, and over there he used the word Chayos to refer to the channels of the Merkava. So here we're actually talking about the transfer of, it could be, that's an outside idea, that it's the Chayos instead of Chius, which would be, well, to me it means energy. But he says Chayos, so it's bringing the channels to those two. Now, the energy source, something like that, could also say that. So Rachel and Leah heim nafkim ma'anfa. So where does Rachel and Leah come out from? They come out from the branches. They come out from the branches. The Yesod shuhu anaf mishorsh gufo. So this again, they come out from the branch that is Rachel and Leah. How do they develop? They develop as a result of the Yesod of Zer Anpin, which is actually a branch. In other words, a branch, not a separate branch, but actually an extension. I just wants to say like that from way up high, from the Lashon. Gufa shel Zer Anpin, which comes out of Tiferes Zer Anpin, which is the Gufa Zer Anpin. So now we'll go, that was a little bit, that's a mahalach in a different direction. The Pirush HaTalmud, he said, Be'ir Khan, he says, the Shisha Nafkim Ma'anfa the Sharsha the Gufa, that phrase, Ritzona Lomer Vav Kitzvos Yotzim Minabina, there are 6 Kitzvos that come out of Bina. Bina is the mother, and she's gestated in Yanika. There's 6 Kitzvos born out. So Shorsh Ve'etzim, and so this is like the concept of its essence and its root. Gimel Kishri the Mechamunoso. So these are the 2 knots, or the 3 bindings rather, of faith. Bina, Tiferes, and Malchus. Now, how you put this together? What, Bina, Tiferes, and Malchus? Okay, so that's like running through the left side of the center. Bina is on the left, and Tiferes is in the middle, and then reaching Malchus, which is usually thought of as being on the left also. Bina, or at least on the left side of the center. I don't know exactly how that works. Bina nikras shorisho. If you use this language, then Bina is called the root, ba'atzma, by herself. The inmin she Bina hi amalchus. So in this Inyan where we say the Bina is malchus, the ak, that is a whole new idea, which could be this. He says this is a Zohar Shemini, in Pash Shemini. He says Bina nikras shorish ba'atzma. The Inyan shall Bina hi amalchus da'ak, hanikras gufa, which is also called by the name gufa. So he said the nikras anfa gam kain is also called the branch, the zehu anfa the shorish the gufa. So he said that's Bina hiham. I'm gonna read it again. Bina nikra shorish ba'atzma ve'inyan shebina hi hamalchus da'ak. Nikras gufa, and she's called the body. The nikras anfa gam kain the zehu anfa the shorish the gufa. So here he's talking about going all the way back to Ak. Going to the Hadras Melech. Bir kan bezel the shono. Says like this. Shisha nafkim zavov kitzvos yotzim ma'anfa. Min anaf at tiferes. Saying the anaf is tiferes. So, and he says that the tiferes, the shorsh, the gufa, who shorsh gufa, ilon hakadosh. This is the source, of the holy tree. The same thing is true. The Yesod has within it the incorporation of all of the 6 kitzvos, just like the Tiferes. Kamosha Kasav Arab Vav, the Oz Vav, or Mashach Meshach, I guess Mashach Vav, but Tiferes v'Yisodo Ad Kan. There really isn't a whole lot to say over here. I could try to look at number Vav down below and see if there's something interesting over here. He says, Rei Be'etz Chaim, he says, what? In Shar Lamed Tes, Uvama B'Sharim, he said, V'sod Vav Gedoyda de Teferes, Vav Ze'ir B'Yisod Ein Sham. So we've seen that before. Mihu Yesh Li, I don't know, Iyun or Ayin Lebir Hadras Melech Ma Shayach call Inyan Zera Besifid Tzniuta. What is it doing over here, Khan? Bu'ula Mefarish the Gam Ala Yisod Shayach Lomer Shisha Nafkim. So maybe on Yisod you could also say that 6 come out there too. Higam Yisod Hu Besod Vav Kumo Antiferes, because it's the same thing as the Vav, just like the Ferris. So here we talk about the Yisod that's in the mouth. Hanizgar Behemshech Sifra that's Niutza, so you're way up top, and we're talking about the Lush and B'mal Ravavim. So that's what we've been talking about. The Gemoshe Bir B'Hadras Melech. Hold on, we're going to see that later. Behemshech Hadras Melech is a little mashmekain. It really doesn't sound like that. He cost of his elder Shono Omer Shisa Nafkim Amfid the Shorsha the Gufa Shuhu Hatiferes Haramos Ba'oz Vov the Havaya Ad Khan. But there's nothing really particularly exciting over there. Now I don't know how much time we have, no more time, but the Yafashah is a little more interesting. If you have time to hear the Yafashah. So the Yafashah. Okay, so the Yafashah says like this: B'Yafashah choyel l'chabakan nusach chadash nafka nafkin ma'ofa. So they come out from a bird. Now it's missing the nun over there, obviously, and this number Zion down here says that he says ze lo nimsa. I really haven't found this anyplace. But anyway, let's say there's no reference to this. This is the Yafashah. The Ire Khan Besod Anfim Ofim Hayotzim Ima Neshama. That there are birds when the Neshama comes out or comes into the body, I guess we say like that, comes down. 2 birds come with it. He says Anfim, he says Besod Ofim Hayotzim, so there are multiple birds. And the Bavar of Klaus of Maimish of the Veneda Besod the Zivug and the Shikin the Abba Ve'ima. Now here's another idea. What do the birds have to do with? They have to do with the concept of the Nishikin of Abba Ve'ima. Zel the Shomusham, this is what it said, the Shisa Nafkim Ma'ofa the Sharsha the Gufa. The 6 come out. They come out from the birds that are the root of the body. So this whole idea is a new idea. So so we've been talking about how is the Hamshachah of the Tipa Kedusha, which is the Sod Mochin the Zer Anpin, which is this Tipa has within it the Mochin the Zer Anpin. This is the whole big deal that we're bringing down. From the highest place, Midas the Atik, it comes from, actually we can locate its origin there. somehow in the Das of Atik, and we're describing the Das of Atik as a result of someplace else of the yichud of what's up above, the Chochmah Bina of Atik, if it's possible to understand that. So he says, "Midas the Atik hamislavish ba'avir dakya the Erik Anpin," which is in that place in Erik Anpin, the Yisod the Abba Ve'ima, and it keeps moving down until it reaches the Yisod of Abba Ve'ima. Sha'abba noising chelik hamochin the Zer Anpin b'Yisod the Ima. So a portion, he doesn't say all of them, he says a portion of those mochin go from Abba into Ima. We have another ches there. So number ches, not too interesting either. So hashta ashmo'inin sod hazivug de Abba ve'ima. So now we see there's something going on in the yichud that's going to take place with Abba ve'ima b'noida sheyeh sham sod neshiki. So you have to understand that there's an inyan of neshikin by the yichud that takes place in Abba ve'ima. Now previously we'd heard that this yichud produces a nesiv, which is hidden or born out of that. Kamo shekasa Rabbeinu be'etz chaim, Rabbeinu Zal said in Beis Lev be'zel Lashonu, ak bezecha be'inyan. So from this thing, Yuvan b'ma she'amar Rabbi Pinchas b'hakdamas hazohar. So this, now you understand what's going on with Rabbi Pinchas over there. She'ein neshama ba'olim, she'ein yotzi b'mo trei anfim. So always says ofim, excuse me. Trei birds. Every day, it's a pair of birds come out with him. What were birds? Ritzon Olom Malachim. So there's always two Malachim there. The Rashby Omer Hey on Ofim Yotzim. There's 5 of them. Yotzim Bezach Gasha Yotza Zer Benuk. So they're like this. When Zer and Anpin and the Nuk were born out, Be'abba Ve'ima Yun Sham. So something like that is happening over there. Benoida Shekol Zecha Behusod HaHebel Yotzim in the Pan Besod Neshikin. That's a whole new idea. All this idea of the 2 birds that he's talking about that accompany the Vlad, at first I thought he was talking about people, which he is. But he says it's also talking about Olam Atzilus. So when Zer Anpin is born out, their birds accompany him, 2 of them, and Rashby says 5. He said, but the whole thing is that we're talking about here is the kind of a kissing. He said, so now he said, let's talk about this. Well, the voice, I guess whatever the propulsion here comes out from the heart. So the heart, I guess, wants to bring it out. This is what it means when it says 6 come out. So the secret of the neshama. Let's think about zun for a minute. What comes into the zun basically is the tzadi of the tzalim, and that is the neshama part of the tzalim goes into Zer Anpin, the zun atzma that goes into them. Hey ofim nafkim imo kamosha amar Rashby. So the 5 birds come out along with it, just like Rashby said. So he said, al v'shalom b'harei elu shisha nafkim anfa ma'ufa. So this is the 6 that come out from the bird. The sharsha the gufa shu halev shorish haguf. Now it's something interesting on number Yud Aleph. We didn't get there. It's somewhere else. So that's it. That's the Yafta Shah, and that's it for today. Okay.